Wonderstone.
And I'm Anton Marvelson.
But of course, you already knew that.
Your ticket sales suck.
What?
Steve Gregg, they're calling him the future of magic.
This guy's a magician. He doesn't even have a costume.
Look at it.
Behold, as I magically change Will Ferrell into Steve Carell.
No, seriously.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a Will Ferrell movie, man.
Well, yeah, okay. Now, I'll say this. They tried to cover it up by saying, let's just not make it as funny.
You know what? I imagine what it comes down to is that nobody can afford to have Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell in the same movie. And the only way the math would work out was to get Steve Carell instead.
Oh, if they were in the same room together, you kill both of them.
Well, you know, there's times when I wish a real magician would come onto the scene and make all those motherfuckers disappear.
Yes.
Because I'm already sick and tired of all their careers, especially after seeing this movie tonight. Man, wow, did I want to fucking disappear from the movie theater? It's like, please, do some magic to my ass right now.
Wait. Just real quick, I just want to say thank you, co-host.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for what? And why'd you look at me?
Because your ass, oh man, I thought it was all right.
And I'm still going to feel that way. I ain't changed a damn thing.
Okay, because you know what? I got to hear this. Please. Like wow, do some wonders to my brain.
I don't want to ever hear any shit about movies that I like that you guys go, oh, those movies bad. Please, elaborate.
No, I'm sorry, Leon, but that's going to continue to happen.
I'm sorry, Cyrus. You had something to say
Well,
before
I'm
you
just
so
going to
rudely
say,
interrupted.
I mean, I didn't hate this movie either, but you've got to admit, Corey, that you hate just as much as we do those movies where everybody is a fucking moron and acts like a moron, and the film goes, but it has heart.
See, y'all are trying to put this pressure on me. I ain't budging. I'm gonna stick up to what I believe in. You act like I'm trying to convince y'all that this movie is.
Hey, your black magic won't work. It won't work on me, pal.
That voodoo that I do to you do. Well, I put
Yeah,
you put the doo-doo. The doo-doo. Yeah, the voodoo.
Get thee behind me, Volta Corey.
You have no powers here.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's not. And see, don't listen to this son of a bitch over here. He's making it sound like I came out like I love this or something. Like, oh man, you see Burt Wonderstone?
Well,
that's a bad motherfucker, man.
Well, the thing is, if I remember correctly, when I actually did see you and we talked about this, you're like, hey man, you know, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, Leon hated it, but me, on the other hand, you know, it had.
See, I didn't do that shit either, man.
And had you going there like, oh, it's probably all right. You know,
I liked it when he pulled me aside to whisper.
Go ahead.
Just to gauge how co-host.
Just by the way, co-host.
Go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I don't care. I don't care.
Come on over to my
Yeah,
side.
come here, buddy. Let me buy you a beer.
That's all right. Keep laughing. Keep laughing, Leon. He's gonna turn on you one day. You know this.
No, he turns on me all the time.
Yeah.
But I got in my corner right now, so I'm enjoying it.
You better keep him there because you know sometimes by the end of the review he's attacking you.
You're right about that.
Yeah, don't get too comfortable
we'll
yet.
start out with the same opinion. Hey. By the end of the review, I'm going like, ow, what is that sticking out of my back?
Leon, let me work my magic, and by the end of it, I'm having to talk about matinee. You watch this thing?
I don't know.
Hey, Leon, just like magic, enjoy it while it lasts.
Co-host is like the Hulk, right? You know you can't really trust him, but you just point him in a direction and let him go.
Yeah,
I'm like one of those Roombas or whatever.
So now this wasn't a Will Ferrell movie where they said that they cast him and then he decided to withdraw and they brought in Steve Carell as a replacement.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Although
Nobody's
we would
saying
not be
that.
surprised.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, somewhere somebody had to say that this was for Will Ferrell because it's a movie that's just too suited for him. Steve Carell there's a lot of jokes that are written that seem like they don't fit him, that they fit somebody else.
Is that what they're called? Jokes? Yeah. Because, I mean, it's funny. It's interesting you bring up the whole Will Ferrell thing because, if anything, I can understand why he turned down this movie because it's nothing like a Will Ferrell movie. Not even to the point where...
Wait a minute, it isn't?
No.
Oh, I thought it totally was.
No, I didn't because you know what? There wasn't enough of at least what was in the script. Anything that remotely reminded me of anything Will Ferrell would ever do because you know what? It's not crazy enough. It's not crazy
That's
enough.
the thing.
Here's the thing about that is that Burt Wonderstone for the first good half of this movie is one of these characters who's over the top. He's oblivious to reality, all in his head. That's what Will Ferrell does. Will Ferrell's movies get crazier because Will Ferrell is able to just ad-lib a bunch of crazy shit. If you took the bare bones of a Will Ferrell script without his ad-libbing,
Without the ad-lib.
that's what this is.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it hits all the beats of almost every Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah.
Guy who's like completely into himself and oblivious to what asshole he is, but he's at the top of his game, hits rock bottom and has to crawl his way up, back up by learning how to be a nice guy. I mean,
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
there's some hot chick who's sensible, yet somehow falls for him inexplicably.
You know, maybe he really tries in those movies because he realizes that he has to sell it.
Yeah.
But my problem with this though is that nobody tried to sell
I mean, even
there were nothing but dead performances in this movie.
But even if I'm not saying that it worked. And for me, certain parts of it did. I'm not changing my opinion at all. So you looking at me, licking your lips, Leon. I'm thinking I'm here backpedaling. I'm not.
No.
But what I'm saying is, whether you think it
don't be
worked or
wrong.
not, you didn't see this as a Will Ferrell movie. I mean, you did, Leon.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I just explained
I
it.
looked at this as a god awful film that should have never been made.
Well, Will Ferrell makes those kind of movies too.
Yeah, but with this material though, I mean, it's like we're dealing with magicians here. Where I was like, who the fuck gives a shit about magicians anymore? This material seems like it's like 10 years too late.
Well, that's one of the-
Chris Angel was at the top of his game like years ago,
That's one
and
of the
now
biggest
we're-
problems.
You must have read my blog. That's my point exactly. They're making fun of people who are no longer relevant at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Go
even
ahead.
when they're showing them like doing magic and stuff, you're like, this is Hollywood. You don't actually have to teach them to do real magic.
Right.
We don't care that they didn't do the real tricks. And the tricks they do, the like Las Vegas-y stuff is like,
Yeah.
So boring.
The lamest kind of Catskill comedian magicians. It's like, who would ever come see this? Guys, you got to make it convincing somewhat.
Yeah, and so you are right, Cyrus. I'll go into a little more detail. Steve Carell plays Burt Wonderstone, who, along with his childhood friend and partner, what was the guy's name?
Steve Buscemi.
Anton.
Anton Marvelton.
Anton Marvelton, yes. They when they're not a gay duo of superheroes, they're magicians on stage, and they've been the highest attraction in Las Vegas until a street musician wanders into town, played by Jim Carrey.
You're a wizard, Gary.
Yeah. Well, and everybody loves this guy, except that it's not really magic. Some of it might be, but he's doing more shock stuff than magic.
It's
Chris
mutilation. It's
Yeah.
mutilation more than
Yeah.
it is magic at
Yeah.
all.
Let's face it, it's Brian Brushwood.
Yeah, this is the guy who does.
Come on, don't put that on Brian.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They said this was a magician's bar.
Mr. Gray. What you do is not magic.
I understand. It's natural for a dying leaf to be frightened by the autumn wind. It's not about pulling a rabbit out of your hat anymore. It's about pulling your heart out of your chest.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
It means I take people's nightmares and turn them into dream realities.
No, he does more the Charlie Rose Freaks type stuff. He's putting nails in his head.
You mean Jim Rose?
I'm so,
Charlie Rose just does a boring talk show.
Yeah, that's
Charlie Rose freak show just puts people to sleep.
It's a freakishly boring show. Yeah, I'm sorry, the Jim Rose Circus.
Like I said, if you were around 10 years ago, you probably understand everything we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, the Jim
Just like-
Rose Circus did that. They had people who put things in certain cavities in their face. They would sleep on beds of nails and coals and all that kind of
Lift
stuff.
anvils with their penises.
And
Yeah.
the funny thing is they didn't call it magic.
Yeah.
Hey, that's true. That's true. It's like they're mixing two different things.
Well, they are mixing two different things because along that where the Chris Angel thing comes in, there's a guy who does stuff like, hey, watch me stay in this box for a long time, or watch me hold my urine for a long time. Basically, it's not magic, but everybody loves it. And when Burt Wonderstone's show starts to lose its allure because it's been the same thing for years, the owner of the hotel that they're staying in, what was
James
that hotel?
Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini. What was the hotel that they were staying in? It was the
it was the
Bali.
It was Bally's.
The Bali, yeah.
He's about to open a new hotel called
Yeah,
Doug.
yeah. He said, "Look, you know what? Y'all ain't making no money. Y'all gotta get the hell out of here and let this new stuff in."
Yeah.
And that's where the movie kind of gets weird because even though we see Burt Wonderstone as a kid, normal, pretty much except for being bullied a lot, and
By the Wimpy Kid, no less.
Yeah, exactly. And the kid that's in the Wimpy Kid movies. Yeah, and you get to see where he gets his start in magic. He's a fairly normal kid. I mean, he's old enough to know how life works. But when Burt Wonderstone gets kicked out of the hotel, he doesn't know how life really works. And forget that he's an asshole to everybody because of his ego. I mean, when he goes to stay in somebody's house, he takes the dishes and puts them outside the door thinking that room service is going to take it. And I'm thinking, you know what life is like. It would probably work if this was sort of a fish out of water story where as an infant you were raised in a hotel and you did not know
It'd
how
be
real
like
life
Joe
worked.
Dirt. That would make some sense.
Yeah, and that's the biggest flaw about this movie is that when we're first introduced to Burt, he is the kid that everyone's picking on. The kid that, oh, hey, I can relate to that guy. And then so one day during his birthday, he gets a magic kit and it opens up his entire world. And then we cut immediately. Before that, that's when we're introduced to his buddy who ends up being his life partner in this whole journey of magic. And then immediately we cut to Vegas. And the guy's all of a sudden the incredible asshole, just like Steve Buscemi calls him, which would have been a more appropriate title because we're thrust into this getting to re-know this guy, and he's an asshole. We're giving no reasons why besides we're just supposed to assume that he's just been living this great life. But I mean, I think immediately that's where the movie falls apart because you know what? I was actually enjoying who that kid was. I was like, man, this could actually turn into an interesting kind of premise. At least if you can't get me with the magic, you can get me with the fact that this guy's just been picked on his whole life. He finds magic in just his crazy world of his magical friends, and the movie doesn't even attempt to go into that.
Well, the world isn't as absurd as Jim Carrey's character and Steve Carell's characters. Like, no one else in it is really absurd. They're all like, wow, that's weird. Even Steve Buscemi is just kind of like, why do I put up with this? Olivia Wilde introduced as the girl is like, I'm not going to put up with your bullshit, Burt. I don't know why she ever gives a shit after all that. What happens to him? But that's the thing. Like, at least in a Will Ferrell film, everything is absurd.
That's true.
Nothing makes sense. And so you're like, I may not think this is funny, but at least they're staying consistent to the universe they've created. Here, these are two completely impossibly dumb people who exist inside of the real world. And it takes you out of it entirely.
And for me, this is like, okay, I guess some years with these premieres, hey, maybe you'll get a cabin in the woods and that's all right. But some years it's MacGruber. And this made me think to that where Olivia Wilde, she's pretty much Ryan Felipe's character in MacGruber. It's like, I'm a good looking person who knows this is stupid, but I'm going along with it. And I get to comment on it and say what the audience is thinking, which makes them think, okay, we know what we're doing. It's not that stupid. It's like, yeah, but it is. And it's not funny. And the thing is, Coles, you brought up everything that really went wrong with this movie. But the other thing to let the audience know is that the best things about it, best relatively, Jim Carrey, Steve Buscemi, Alan Arkin, they're not in the movie that much.
No.
They're barely in it.
And even Alan Arkin is really likable at points, but then they'll turn around and give him stuff to do that's so wildly unfunny and even out of character for him.
I found out throughout this movie, every time they had a joke that I thought kind of worked, they overplayed it and made it not funny.
And it should be mentioned that Alan Arkin is the magician that inspired Steve Carell's character when he was a kid. He was the guy who made the magic kit. Well,
right.
What was that character's name?
Yeah, I can't remember his
Rizzo
name.
or something like
Rance
that.
Holloway.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because where I was at the point where I wanted to walk out of the movie. I was like, man, they keep trying to hit me joke after joke. It's not interesting. I could tell that the cast is not into this movie at all. But when Alan Arkin pops up, it's like he's actually bringing some life to it, where it's like, okay, finally a story I can latch onto. A guy meeting his hero. His hero's like, I did this to you.
Yeah, he met it. And we got to mention that he meets his hero in an old folks home years later, who has given up on magic, but of course they inspired each other to go and do true magic.
And
again.
there's a small inkling of something that could work there, and then they just completely drop it.
Well,
Drop it like it's hot.
See, look, I do admit there's a lot here that doesn't work. I mean, the thing you're talking about where we see Burt Wonderstone being an asshole years later. I mean, we see him being bullied as a kid. There is the catalyst for him to be the person that he is, but they don't go back to that. They never refer to him being an outcast as a kid. That might be, an impetus for him being the way he is when he gets older. I mean, he's just an asshole because he has an ego. The other thing is, and this is listen, if you're looking for any kind of logic in this movie, you're going to be upset because the magic that they do in this movie, that's some Harry Potter shit that they do. It's true wizardry because, I mean, unless you are just walking around every day with doves in your pockets and butterflies in your sleeves and rabbits in your ass or whatever. I mean, they just pull this shit out of nowhere. It is true. It is a truly exaggerated, ludicrous world.
Oh shit. Rabbits in your ass. You have to be able to have the ability to put rabbits in other people's asses and them not know.
Hey man, that's magic.
Yeah, but only when it's required for a joke, and then even then it doesn't make sense. It's like, well, magic usually requires on the person who ass the rabbit shows up in and being in on the magic.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is I actually know some people that can put some rabbits up their ass, yet they know nothing about magic.
You know, it's funny. Yeah, it's Las Vegas. It ain't Hogwarts. You know, I mean, come on, man. But okay, here's where let me back up. let me get some distance.
Wait.
Go ahead, Professor.
I hear that beep. Beep.
Why should we like this movie, Corey Coleman?
Dazzle us with your sleight of mouth.
Don't I always? Man, that sounds nasty. I usually do those on Friday nights under a bridge somewhere.
Regale us with your tales of wonder about what you found interesting in this movie.
You'd be surprised how many balls he can fit in his mouth.
Watch me pull a rabbit's balls out of my mouth.
I guess more if they're shaved.
Wow, what else can you put in there?
I know that. Let me go across the street. Here's my review across the street.
I know.
I'm making this movie. No, man.
Something called Skype you can use. No magic required.
Let me go on the street.
No, I want to hear Corey's review though, because magic is the power of delusion.
Let me get in my car and drive down the street and call y'all. Get my review. Listen, I know that, I see. The thing is, when I came out, I didn't even say shit to Leon, and I knew that this was not going to be the movie that he would like. And I came out and I didn't say shit to him. I just I cut in line next to him, and he said, man, were you in Burt Wonderstone? I was like, yeah. Man, that bullshit. You see that old fucking shit? And that put me in a position like, well, I kind of like it.
I thought it was. You start sounding like Steve Buscemi.
And then I had to explain. I said, listen, when you put me against such a strong opinion like that, even if I say it's mediocre, it's going to make it sound like I just loved it. Right. And I didn't, because I see everything you're saying. And the movie did annoy me in some parts, especially when you go see it at South by Southwest and they open up by saying, oh, this movie is just fucking-tastically funny.
Really?
Oh, co-host, you should have been there.
Oh, I'm glad I wasn't.
We saw this movie, and it is so fucking funny. You guys are going to love this.
Yeah. And
did you see anything in that movie that was fucking funny?
No.
Did you see anything that was funny?
No.
You see anything that was mildly amusing?
No. Let me take you to the future. No.
But, see, I did. And some of the laughs that I got, and there have been some Will Ferrell movies where I've been like this too, because he's not always my favorite guy in the movies, because his world is, as Cyrus said, is this crazy exaggerated world that has no sense. They just it's just for a laugh.
Right.
They don't think anything through. They just say it doesn't have to make sense. Let's just go for a laugh, and that's what this movie does. Some of this stuff is just cheap laughter, and I get it, but some of that laughter made me laugh, and a lot of it did come from some of the side characters. I mean, Olivia Wilde as the assistant is the straight person. I thought some of her reactions to Burt Wonderstone being a dick were kind of funny. I liked Steve Buscemi. There's certain scenes in there where his character, I don't want to ruin the movie, but his character, when they split up, he goes off and he does things, and the things that he does, his part of being oblivious worked better. Yeah. I think than Burt Wonderstone's, because this guy goes off and he does just some stupid stuff in the name of magic, and it made me laugh. And there were certain things that the movie did where in my mind I said, you know what? For that joke to work, if they actually went further and did this, and we talked about it, I can't go into details, Leon, but I said if they did this, that would actually make that hilarious. And they actually did those things that I was thinking. Now, on the other hand, there's some things that you were right. They went too far with a joke. They actually had a joke, and they kept going.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Right there. You could have stopped it. But, I mean, it says something, whether they went too far with it or not, or whether the movie works as a whole, that I did get genuine laughs from it.
Okay, so you enjoyed the movie that it should have been.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't you be like a musician to take my words and make some balloon animal out of that shit.
Somebody would have given me that script, the balloon animal.
Man, fuck y'all. See, I gave y'all reasons, and they're mine.
Hey, look,
they're mine.
I'll give you Steve Buscemi. There's moments of that movie.
You gotta give me shit.
Well, I'm giving it to you anyway. But
we're giving you shit.
If I can get, you'll be pulling it out of your ass. But here's the thing with Steve Buscemi is like I don't know what it is about that guy sometimes. He can be in the worst shit ever, yet he still manages to pull something out of his hat that makes you like genuinely laugh because he's really treating the material seriously. And I thought he was really doing his best in this. I mean, he was the one bright spot. Even that moment that you're talking about, I found myself chuckling. I was like, yeah, you know what? This makes more sense than this whole fucking plot they're throwing at me right now with Steve Carell. And I mean, but you know, once again, where another character that I want to bring up, Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey is in every goddamn poster, every preview for this movie, even though he's not really in the movie at all. I thought he was just doing a series of just really bad In Living Color sketches that would not end. It's like his worst character in Living Color, and they just keep going with it. Can't find anything new, nothing to even, you know, get the idea across that these two are really competing.
See, I thought he was actually good. And
I did not like him.
Co-host, I would correct you in that. What you talk about him doing his In Living Colors shtick, he actually saved that for the Q&A after the movie.
Really?
Hey, that's why we left.
You would have vomited.
Oh no!
Because I agree with you in the sense that it eventually became that way. I thought at first, actually, he was really funny. I was like, I like this character. I'm curious to know where he's going to go, what he's going to do with it. But then it was clear, he's not a magician. He's just this guy who's, I don't even know why anyone would conceive of him as a magician. And he's just irritating and stupid. And you're like, all right, I give up. I thought that was going to be at least your one thing. And as far as Steve Buscemi goes, I just felt sorry for him the whole time, not even in terms of plot, but that the movie acts like they're embarrassed he's even there.
Right.
You know, they're like, they write him out of the movie almost entirely for the whole middle of it. And then when you feel like there should be some sort of, because they keep going, it's all about friendship, it's all about friendship. And you feel like that's going to be, has to be key to things coming back together. It really isn't. It's just kind of like, oh, fine, fine, we're friends again.
I thought maybe he asked not to be in most of the movie because he's like, I think it hit him all of a sudden when he woke up from a nightmare that he was in this movie. Is that, why am I doing this? I'm on Boardwalk Empire. Why am I doing this?
That's why I wondered, like, maybe he's shooting Boardwalk Empire at the same time. He's like, guys, write me out of the movie because I got some scenes to film.
Yeah, I got some good shit to film right now. I can't fuck this up, guys.
All I know is after all the Adam Sandler films he's been in, I think there was a deal with like the devil involved at some point. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, he's used to being in some shit. So, you know. And see, if this was an Adam Sandler movie, you'd love him. You'd love
But
him.
it's not an Adam Sandler movie. I don't know what kind of movie this is.
I know.
It
Thank
is not
God.
that.
Listen, man. I mean, some of the ways that Jim Carrey's character would just enter a scene made me laugh. There was, and early on in the movie, I agree that more of the jokes that they did with him were more solid. Even some of his jokes later on in the film, they'd set it up and either they take it too far, or they wouldn't follow through enough, or they take it someplace where it wasn't as funny. But
God damn it! All right, Corey, I'm going to pull some flowers out of my goddamn sleeve right now and hand them to you. There's only one part that Jim Carrey was good in, and it involves a floating scene. And that's all I'll say.
To you. I knew you laughed at that scene, too.
I did laugh at that. And that was it. And then I wanted to slap the shit out of myself.
I know what you're talking about.
That shit made me laugh hard. And you believe in that shit, too.
You know what? And it's funny because that's why it made me laugh. Because I remember co-host talking about that and being all into it.
You remember co-host came to us years ago? He said, "Man,
David Blaine,
this guy named David Blaine, dude. I swear he really is magical, man.
Like
he
people
floated.
surrounded him. They watched him. They could see he floated.
He's the second coming of Jesus, man. I'm telling you."
And I will always hate myself for that because there's actually a scene in this movie where there's a guy saying the same shit. He's like, "Oh no, this guy's like a god."
You ever seen that sketch online with the David Blaine type guy who's stalking these two gay guys and won't stop torturing them with dark magic? It's like, it makes the guy's orange crush disappear and then the other guy starts pissing orange crush.
I said that should have been in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But and even parts where Steve Carell, when he is an asshole before it becomes too absurd with his character, when he just starts to make these quick turnarounds with his personality, and when you get to see that, man, this doesn't make sense for this character. I thought beforehand he was funny. I mean, I laugh at assholes. You know, I relate.
I listen to my own recordings.
You know what? The whole time sitting in that theater, I'm like, I bet you Corey probably watches like, that's me again. Okay, every goddamn movie that comes out, like, that's an asshole. That's me. That's me. No, it's not.
When you have a huge ego, you do think every movie character is you.
Yeah, it is.
I know.
See how it works? So is it not me or is it me?
I know.
No. Confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's laughing at what he would have done. Like, he's like, oh no, man, I wouldn't have done that. Here's what I would have done. That's funny.
Here's what a real dick does.
Did you like to see Underdog? That was me.
Even with Medea, that's me. I don't.
Hey, man, you put a dress on me.
I got a dress at home.
I know.
I'll do that.
I know. I've lived through that. That's my life. That's my life up there.
Call Tyler Perry stealing my shtick. But man, See, now y'all gonna be surprised, because especially after you.
You didn't surprise me.
Here we go.
Yeah, I am, because
Low matinee.
It's a movie.
I guarantee you right now. I'm telling you.
Cyrus, did you predict the future?
Wait. I just saw Corey run into a phone booth. Oh, look at this. Captain Matinee.
Well, obviously, I don't need to give this rating since somebody else did it for me. Leon. No. See, I told y'all I was going to fool you. I was going to say the movie is a movie that, like most of these absurd comedies, they start out stronger. And whether I like them or not, I do notice they start out stronger and they peter out near the end. Even though this movie did have a joke at the end that kind of brought it around for me. But still, like I said, it's an uneven comedy, and I give it a high rental. And a high rental meaning that I liked it.
Wow.
But no, don't wow, because the way I had to defend against you, no, that's lame.
I think your cape got stuck in the phone booth right there.
God damn.
Come on, he's using the metric system. Okay? It's a
I
different
gave it a
now.
high rental. I mean, what do y'all want? Y'all expecting a matinee. Man, y'all just mad because y'all
You
didn't
must be high.
Y'all
Forgive
just
me.
mad because y'all didn't guess me. That's all it is.
I'm pretty sure I guessed you.
yeah.
You just changed your
I
review.
didn't do shit. I had this plan from the very beginning.
Yeah, I saw that look, the same look that Burt Wonderstone had when that guy gave away his trick. He's like, what?
I don't give a damn. I knew what I was going to do.
God damn it.
Man, just go off and cuddle up with Burt Wonderstone already.
Want to look in that big black hat of yours?
See, man, you just like those people where you like, I always call you on this. You know better than those racists back in the day. Those black people, all right, what are you, N-word lover? What is wrong with you?
I don't think he said N-word.
You doing me like this. The Burt Wonderstone's like, oh, what do you want to do? You want to make love to him now? You love him so much?
You know what? What I'm actually doing is I'm trying to save you, because you're going to come back to this later, a year from now, and think about it and go like, wow, that movie's actually some old bullshit. I can't believe I
No,
did
I'm
that.
not.
You're nuking the fridge, Corey.
No, I'm not.
This is a preview of a future, a couple of
No, I'm gonna listen to years later. In my review, my opinion's gonna come back stronger, more confident than ever. Man, keep your review, man.
Can you make that penis disappear, Corey?
Yeah, into your mouth. You keep fucking with me. I'm sorry. Wow, I just set myself over there.
Okay, anybody who heard this and actually heard the things Corey said, you realize that there's nothing in this movie to like. Even when you talked about what you liked about the movie, it's like, not really. Even you trying to compliment it, you undercut what this movie was.
Don't make this about me. Let people decide for
But
themselves.
I'm saying, like, even a guy who's trying to talk positively about the movie can't help but
That's your
reveal
opinion.
how shitty it is.
Don't put this out here. Don't try to speak for
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
people.
So when I give my review, I don't give my opinion?
No, you give your opinion, but right now you speaking for me and you speaking for the people.
I speak for the trees.
You speak for yourself.
And the trees say this movie is some king bullshit. Everything that you think you're going to get out of this movie is not there. And the jokes, I got nothing. I got maybe 3 chuckles, and on one of the best chuckles, yeah, you're right. Steve Buscemi does have a good joke in there, which they immediately overplay. I was like, God damn it, you had one. Mm-hmm. I was smiling, and you just ruined it every single time. And probably the thing that makes me hate this movie the most is what they did with Steve Carell. Like, as a kid, yes, you do like him. You want to see him succeed. They immediately jump to him being a ridiculously colossal asshole who you can't relate to at all. And Steve Carell's not even good at playing that. What he's good at playing is the character he plays in the third act, where he goes back into Steve Carell mode. He's the same character he is in Crazy Stupid Love and Evan Almighty and all those movies. He's like, hey, I'm just a guy who's trying to do his best, and I'm a little guy, but stick with me. Maybe I'll come through. It's like, stop it, dude. You pick one character and stick with it, or else don't even come to play. This movie was a waste of my fucking time. It's some old bullshit.
Amen, brother.
You know what? I'm going to hang you from that tree you speaking from. Or speaking for, whatever the fuck.
Is this going back to the N-word thing?
Yeah. I'm going to lynch your ass.
You're a
Black
tree.
man got to get lynched.
You're a tree in that
For speaking
theater.
up for himself.
Because you
speaking up for what's right.
Because you lynched me first.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
you know what he's going to do? You're going to hang him, and then the rope's going to go down, and it'll turn out it was you in the tree.
It's magic.
I didn't even have the energy to hate it, really, because it just kind of hung there. There are points I chuckled at. There are little things all the way through. There are points I was like, that was cute. But like the worst thing about it is it's just poorly written, and it doesn't even have the courage of its convictions. Feels like anytime they could push the envelope at all, like you would at least give Will Ferrell the credit for doing. Like, okay, he goes too far, but at least he went somewhere.
Right, he's trying to do something.
This film won't even go that far. It's like it's playing with those type of ideas and those type of ridiculous, absurd characters, and yet, it just never comes together on any level. Nothing fits together. All the pieces are so separate, and you can't help but notice that. I was really liking Alan Arkin in this a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he was terrific in the scenes he was, with the exception of one really absurd, incredibly stupid joke that didn't fit his character at all. But I mean, like, that's the problem. Even the, like, characters you do, like, y'all like that one bit with Steve Buscemi afterwards. And I was like, he was the only human character in this. And then suddenly they made him act like he's just as big an idiot as Steve Carell. I was like, okay, movie, you don't even know what you want to be. Like I said, there's a few laughs here. But there's really nothing to recommend this unless you're a huge fan of Jim Carrey. Cause I mean, he does have some funny shtick in here. I'm gonna give it a low rental.
We were in the same area, kinda.
No, you said high rental.
No,
that's almost a low.
What
matinee.
he meant is low matinee.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm gonna tell Amanda to make it a low matinee.
He's reading my mind.
Well, I'm sorry, but you need to avoid this goddamn movie like you would Dave Copperfield when you go to Vegas. You just don't even think about it. Just leave. Just keep walking.
He's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I
man.
was gonna say, what do you hate about Dave Copperfield?
For real? Okay.
We're going to do this intervention now.
I'm with you, co-host. Keep going.
No, I mean, this movie didn't know what it wanted to do. This movie, you could tell it was written on a fucking table napkin, and somebody put it up their ass only to reveal it to the movie studio, and they said yes for some reason because they got Steve Carell in here and Jim Carrey. I guess his resurrection to the movies. I can't even remember the last movie I saw that asshole in, but I'm hoping he goes back into that rabbit hole never to come out again. Because man, if you're going to be this lazy and don't you're not even going to try to make an interesting, character, unlike a kid could have pulled this act that he did, done the same crap, just by watching some Chris Angel, and his performance was appalling to me just because of pure laziness out of him, and that's kind of the rest of the movie for me. I didn't really find too much of it funny at all. There's not a single shred of it that I can honestly go back and watch again on my free will. So therefore, I am giving it some old bullshit. Just stay away from this movie, please.
You know what I'm thinking? Corey had a magic set when he was a kid. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Where are you going with this?
I just waiting to hear you admit it.
You're looking at me like I'm gonna finish your joke for you.
Please, that's all I had.
No, fuck you. I'm gonna let you dangle, man. Like you left me out there. You suffer, you son of a bitch.
You see this magic act collapsing right in front of you, Leon?
Yeah, come on, you guys. We should make up because friendship is magic.
Yes.
For 12 days, he's held his urine.
What is going through your mind?
I really have to pee, Richard.
It's time for my final disappearing act.
Where did he go? He has gone to a better place. Goodbye, Rance.
He's under the bed.
I know.
They call me Mr. Worldwide.